They're in the Rolodex, but I'll keep them to a minimum.
Yeah.
I don't want any aspiring.
This morning I heard the
children
term
in the
lexicon
hospitality industry.
Lexicon.
and now we have Rolodex.
I love Rolodex. I hear Rolodex more than you would think in podcasts and
It's a
stuff
great
like
word.
that. It's a great word.
Top 15% of words for sure. A
Yeah.
really competitive word.
Hey guys, welcome to Word of Mouth. You're going to be listening to this on a hot summer day, I think.
Hope so.
And it's just a pretty exciting thing to consider that that song right now it's April 18th. And that song's hitting with this warm weather in June. It's going to be still hitting.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it getting cold again. That's kind of amazing, right?
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Oh my gosh, whose voice is that?
Wait. It's not just me and Steven. Hang on. Who's that guy?
Howdy. Do I need to introduce myself? Or
Oh, please do,
give me
yeah.
the pleasure?
Yeah.
Who are you? Why are you here?
My name is Alexander Stern, and I'm here because I was very suavely approached by these two gentlemen at Golden Age. They saw me across the room, and they
Pinned you down.
They flanked me on my left and right.
Yep.
And
We wouldn't let you leave.
gave me a proposition I couldn't refuse.
And you just woke up like 10 minutes ago from that
and
evening,
then-
which was last night.
Whatever, the tranquilizer just wore off, and I came to, and here I am.
Wow. That's
Oh,
amazing.
man. We are here with none other than Stern.
We saw a man across the way with a mustache, and we said we must
Yes.
find out
Yeah.
what his story is.
And really, this episode is all about mustaches.
It is. It is. This is the mustache-isode.
How to manicure them,
Yep.
what sort of off-market PEDs you can use to
Yep.
make them thicker.
Yep.
I use Moldovan horse biotin personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a second wind of puberty. It's
Wow.
a fantastic
Wow.
product.
Praise God.
I drink whole milk.
Yeah. From what animal?
I brush mine
Wouldn't
every
you
day.
like to know?
I brush
Oh.
mine every day. It helps it thicken.
Yeah. You have a small mustache scaled brush that you use.
Yeah, it's kind of an ugly hairbrush, but micro-sized.
Yeah.
So
No, that's cool.
So anyways, Stern, what do you do, man? What about you do you think interested us so much to where we came over and attacked you in Golden Age wine? And I think, isn't that the only thing the Golden Age is called, or is there another one? Is it wine and something?
I think it's just
I
Golden
think
Age.
It's just Golden Age wine.
Golden Age wine.
I don't know. I've got some extracurricular activities that I guess people have taken interest in.
It would seem.
The food and beverage sector that people seem to enjoy. And other than that, I don't know.
What sort of activities do you participate in your free time?
I like to sling sandwiches.
Sling sandwiches.
At volume.
Wow.
That's right.
At volume.
Yeah.
Are you scaling at volume?
I mean, this all sounds like words I would use. But
I think it's funny using like business terms, but out of context.
Yeah,
and
I've had
kind
a-
of like inappropriately.
I
You
mean,
know-
I'm putting the cart in front of the horse right now, but I've had a few formal meetings for Deli Ole, and I just have to remind myself that we're talking about pulled pork sandwiches. Just like the opportunities for growth are just unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I'm putting meat in between bread.
Yeah, which is funny.
I mean,
but
in exceptional ways.
yeah, in unique ways for sure.
The first time that I ever interacted with Stern, to my knowledge, you served me at Slim's probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
I mean, I went right after it opened, and
know.
you served me, and I was like,
you were at table 7. You let your wife have the banquet. Very, very pro move.
big
I
pro
remember.
move. Wow. But yeah, I remember seeing it, and I was like, yeah, this guy, this is, I was literally Googled a picture of, what's the photographer that owns it? Freaking,
Miller
Miller
Mobley.
Mobley. I was like, dude, is this Miller Mobley? That's what I thought. I didn't know who you were. I was like, this guy looks like he's somebody.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I don't get that I'm Miller Mobley, but I'll have
Mobley's
people-
You look like some guy you look like some guy.
I have people that will unironically ask me while I'm serving them if I'm the owner of the restaurant. I'm in an apron right now. Asking you if you want an Aperol.
Do I
Spritz at
have a
your table.
Rolex on my wrist? I don't think I do.
How
No.
many people get Aperol Spritz? Is it a lot?
Uh,
Because I feel like that's kind of the bougie place to go to, and bougie
Yeah.
people love getting Aperol Spritz.
I've probably had 1,000 in my hands over the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, people love them. I mean, they're extremely refreshing. It's very chic, but now people have
Chic.
they've moved on toward Hugo spritzes. That's what all the sophisticated people of Birmingham are drinking these days.
Right.
Is Hugo just like another, like,
Yeah, it's a spritz with Saint Germain. Aperol it's from a bygone era now. It was really big in 2004, but 2005 is the year of Hugo spritzes.
Amen. Well, how did you? We want to get to Deli Olé, but how did you get into the service industry?
Yeah.
I feel like we should take it back a little bit. Take us back to the beginning.
from your wee young beginnings?
When you were 5 and you were working at your dad's restaurant.
Yeah, I actually don't have any like interesting service industry lore. Like, I'm pretty new to the industry. I initially started in catering in Florida. I had sort of exhausted my options in town, and I moved to live in my stepmom's guest house in Sarasota to see if I could like conjure something up down there. And I started working in catering. So Sarasota, you might not know this, I don't know how much you know about Sarasota, Florida.
Not much.
It was formerly the circus headquarters of the United States.
Wow.
So like the Ringling have this palatial estate there. And the circus, I don't think, is doing the numbers that it used to.
I
in
don't
the
think it's
60s
as
and
big.
70s.
I don't think it's as big.
So I was working with all these like former circus people
Yeah.
who lost their job as trapeze artists and like tiger whisperers. So
That's insane. That is such a
I was like the
crazy
youngest
thing.
person there by like 40 years, and I was all these like Slovakian former gymnasts and
Everyone was twins.
me. So I got into catering and sort of learned steps of service and a little bit of back of house stuff. And I wasn't like over the moon about it. I wasn't like, this is my passion. I can't
Right.
wait to spend the rest of my life with retired gymnast and like
And coleslaw.
contortionist and
Did
coleslaw.
you ever meet a bearded lady?
No, I did.
Dang.
There was some like perceptible facial hair on some of them, but not by. I don't think that was their intention.
Not enough to become a show
Yeah.
about.
Is contortionist and coleslaw? Is that the first time those two things have been said consecutively on
Yes.
this podcast?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's our next bumper sticker is contortionist and coleslaw.
Discussions on contortionist coleslaw chefs.
yeah, I was down there, and it was fine. Like, it wasn't like interesting. There was nothing about catering that's like creative and how I was doing it. It was just a job that was technically in the service industry. It's just like go to realtor meetings and put out like some pigs in a blanket.
Yep.
And then
Sounds like a good life.
I came back, and because of COVID, I wasn't really like, I was like the only person in Sarasota that was like under 60 years old that I knew. So as fun as it was to like drive down the Keys and like drink Miller High Life alone on the beach, I was like, I probably should go to a city where there's more people in my age bracket.
Yep.
So I came back, and
Are you originally from here? From
yeah, I'm
Birmingham?
originally from Hoover.
Nice.
I came back and I was looking for something, and I was friends with someone who knew the operating owner of Slim's, and I kind of fudged my experience and like made the catering look like I knew more than I did.
Yeah.
And I started working at Slim's, and that has sort of like catapulted me into this larger scene of hospitality in Birmingham and a sort of broader network.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah, and since then it's just kind of grown incrementally, and I've come to enjoy it. And that's obviously different than the circus crew in Sarasota. Slim's is like
Slightly.
very considered in the details, and it's showed me that you can like be creative in all different aspects in the service industry, whether it's the branding or the interior, and that sort of kind of got my gears ticking.
Yeah.
And I've come to really enjoy it. I mean, I've always been interested in food, always been interested in culture. I've developing interest in wine and meeting all the characters and the people that sort of comprise the service industry in Birmingham has been really fun.
Yeah.
I've fallen into place in it.
That's awesome. That's one of the things I love most about Birmingham, I think, is the culinary scene here is
Yeah.
vibrant. And also, like, kind of punches way above its weight for the size of the city, honestly.
I would say per capita, it really does. And I think the cool thing about it is you can be like me and get further ahead than you otherwise would in a different market because there's so few degrees of separation between people.
Yeah.
Like I've got to meet a lot of the most exceptional people in the industry just from like serving them at Slim's and just being willing to like attempt to network and engage with them.
Yeah.
And people being receptive to that because like it's such a small town. I don't think anyone thinks they're like Bobby Flay.
Right.
I think no one's going to be like, no, I'm not getting coffee with you. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, there's like a humility to it.
I'm the waiter's assistant at Armor House. You think I have time to get coffee with you?
Do you know how many times I've tried to get coffee with Bobby Flay?
Countless. That man's busy.
He never says yes.
He never texts me back.
I wouldn't take it personally.
He's a busy guy.
We don't have room for Bobby Flay in Birmingham.
No.
That's definitely a bumper sticker.
We don't have room for
We're really
Bobby
into this
Flay.
bumper sticker idea thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, as coleslaw and contortionists fall
100%.
into that.
100%.
Bobby Flay haters.
Yeah.
That's actually super interesting to consider. Like, that is, I think we are unique in that way. Birmingham is unique in that way that, like, when, like, you know, you came up and you got a job at Slim's. Like, that would be really hard in another city, like a major city, to get a job with you know, like the most famous chef or one of the most famous chefs in a city opens up a restaurant. You probably would have to have like a ton of plugs.
Yeah.
But you got in, and then now because you know them, now you were able to just open up and start up your own thing, which is insanely cool.
Yeah, I think that is cool. I mean, Slim's was kind of the Wild West when I started working there.
Yeah, how was that whenever you got there? Because like you said, you weren't crazy about it in Florida. So like, A, why did you even want to work in service industry still? And then B, what was it like being at Slim's and you're like, oh wait, I actually like really enjoy this now?
Yeah, I just really needed a job primarily. I didn't have like a ton of other marketable skills. Like I've always thought I'm creative and talented in the arts in some ways, but people don't really buy that as like a resume.
Right.
They're like, I'm really creative. Trust me.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
Yeah, but like I need a hard skill. It's
Yeah,
usually
well,
the response.
You're right. I was gonna like be at Slim's until something else worked out, and then I just never left or haven't left yet. But yeah, it was kind of rocky. I was like a waiter's assistant for like 6 weeks, which is like, I wouldn't say it's like humbling to a certain extent because I was a little bit older when I started working there, and a WA is typically a job that like some like high school kid can do.
Yeah.
Just like refilling water. But I was kind of learning the ropes, and like once I got on the floor and sort of got the knack for it, and I never really looked back.
Let's go.
It's
It
kind
was
of amazing.
just me and a bunch of Mountain Brook high school kids
Yeah,
in
it
the dish
was.
pit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you want to hit our vape? I'm like, nah, I'm all right.
That's hilarious. So did you do any other creative endeavors outside of food and beverage stuff before Deli?
I had a fledgling clothing brand that did all right, but never really got the momentum that Deli Ole has currently.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
What
I
was
mean,
your clothing brand?
It was called Deli Ole, which I didn't realize sounds phonetically similar to Deli Ole until someone pointed out to me. They're like, "Are you capable of like naming your concepts anything other than that?"
DLL with
was like,
the
no.
various
I'm pigeonholed.
vowels.
No. Yeah, I mean, we did some really cool stuff with the clothing brand, and it kind of helped me like learn how to market.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just like people don't respond to like graphic tees and knits and hoodies the same way they do to food.
Yeah.
I don't think I was like as good, or as like my taste was still a little bit ways away from being what it is now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I learned a lot, even though we probably
Yeah.
made like $900 in total.
When did you do that?
That was like pre-pandemic, so it was like 2018 to like 2020. I thought we put out some cool stuff. We got into like cut and sew stuff later on. We got some really cool knitwear made that was
Cool.
like hand sewn and dyed in Canada that I thought was really cool. But it just like never caught fire, and I never really gained any momentum.
Yeah.
And it never really sort of like was streamlined enough to really amount to anything.
What did you want to do when you were growing up?
I don't know. I've never really had like this big overarching dream.
Fair.
I think at one point I wanted to be a zookeeper.
Let's freaking go.
That was cool.
Yeah.
You watched We Bought a Zoo, and then
Yeah.
naturally,
I just think
You watched the Krat Brothers and you said, "That's me."
yeah,
Yep.
it's all been very fluid. Like my interests change pretty regularly.
Yeah.
But hospitality was the first time that I've like stuck something out to any sort of degree.
How long have you been at Slims?
A little over 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm the longest tenured front of house employee currently.
Yeah.
wow.
But yeah, it's probably the longest I've ever had a job, the same job.
So talk to us about whenever you were there, you were thinking about starting the Deli Ole thing. Because I'm really interested too, like, or what just piqued my interest is you talking about you're the longest front of house. But I imagine what you're doing at Deli Ole is very different. I mean, you're like the chef. Like you're in.
Yeah, I have a business partner who came on sort of after the first couple pop-ups who's helped me tremendously with the culinary, but I have some cooking experience, although very limited, but I've always been extremely interested in food.
Yeah.
And I guess Deli Ole started in September of 2024, and that's when I guess it'd been percolating prior to that, but that's when I like finalized the graphic identity and launched the Instagram, and the first pop-up was in November. But I just got really interested in watching, because Slims is kind of different, and the people that own Slims have different projects in the works as well, and I've been sort of privy to their process, not only of like opening the actual restaurant and operating it, but developing the brand. And that really interested me, and that is like the type of creativity in restaurants that interests me. So I mean, I saw them doing it, and I was like, I don't have the resource to open up a brick and mortar, but I have ideas, like, and I would like to develop a brand with my sort of own aesthetic and own identity. And I had friends who were in the pop-up space, and I saw how they did it, and I thought I could do it better, because I just didn't think it was like, just wasn't a coherent brand identity, which I thought was like a really critical part to it, and like I thought would allow me to do other things that interested me creatively, like merchandise or videography or whatever it might be. So
I came across your website the other day, speaking of.
The website's sick. Shout out Dylan Spencer.
Yeah, Dylan Spencer, the Auburn token basketball guy.
Y'all should have him on.
We actually should.
He's a sweet guy. He's got
I'm writing it down.
He does a lot of cool stuff for a lot of really cool hospitality projects, and he has a lot of insight into a lot of cool stuff in Birmingham. He's been an asset to me. Just had a baby.
Shout out.
Dad
Dylan.
mode.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it's crazy how he's like a graphic designer, like super good, but he's specifically niched himself, or at least I've only seen his stuff in web design.
Yeah, I think it's kind of his niche is web development. But yeah, the website has really helped make Deli Ole look much more professional.
And
did a really good job. It looks great on
video
desktop.
is like so cool. Were you a part of that? I guess it was like an announcement video. I don't know what exactly it was.
Commercial. Yeah, I did like the styling for that, and like kind of casted it and picked the location, and my buddy Hamilton kind of made it his own and made it look really visually intriguing.
Yeah.
So,
That's really cool. Have you ever watched that, Mars?
No, I don't think I'd seen it.
Yeah, Dylan's websites are always just like perfect.
Yeah.
And so the video is just like, I don't remember if it's just on the front page or I don't know what it is, but
it's pinned on the Deli Ole Instagram, and it is like on the opening page of the desktop website for www.deliole.com.
wow. There you go.
All rights reserved.
He owns the freaking www dot.
The domain.
The domain.
Yeah, I don't own the Instagram, which is crazy. I have to put a dot in between Deli Ole, and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. I wake up in cold sweats. I just want it
understand.
without the dot. But
I understand.
I don't know who has it. I can't even find it on Instagram.
It's probably your clothing company.
It might be. Might be
I was
just
going
like-
to say, my name is spelled super uniquely. It's Myres.
I probably secured it like buzzed at Golden Age one day and just forgot about it. I probably have it like just
Yeah.
like all the other like Instagram
Right,
like,
you just
handles
gotta scroll
I
through
have
all the
that
profiles.
aren't even anything yet. I'm like,
I've
just
tried to
some
get
idea.
my own name as my Instagram, and it's just like a ghost account.
Yeah.
No one uses it.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
I DM'd Steven one time saying I'd pay him $100.
I try to get Alex Stern, but there's like 9 other Jewish lawyers that already have that name on Instagram. I'm like, well, whatever.
There can
That's
only
so
be so
funny.
many Jewish lawyers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you kind of, I also love that your framework for starting it was, you kind of made the graphic identity. Because I think that is true. Like a lot of brands, I think that there's kind of 2 pieces to the secret sauce, specifically in this city. And I think everywhere. I don't know about the everywhere thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But whenever something's locally owned, like you have to be, in order to succeed in Birmingham, you have to be about Birmingham. That's at least
Right.
as a consumer. I don't care like how good you are in Nashville. I want you to care about Birmingham. I think you can do both really well. I think you can be from Nashville, but as long as you send people down here that like, I'm thinking about Jackson from Lady Bird. Like Jackson like loves Birmingham, and he's like about Lady Bird's success here. And then also I think you have to have a unique. Your company almost needs to be like a person that you can like fall in love with. Like that is something that I think is awesome. There needs to be a personality attached to it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people see it as like an extension of my personal brand, or at least the people that know me relatively well.
Yeah.
I think you can like see a lot of my taste in it, for better or for worse. But I mean, I agree with you. And I've been encouraging people who have ideas to just like, some people have really big ideas and they're like, I want to have, like, just in hospitality, for example, like they have a concept and they want to have like a brick and mortar, and they want to have like a 200-seat restaurant, and they want to serve like fusion Thai cuisine or whatever it might be. But I just encourage people, like, even if you have an idea that's like really grand, like build out a graphic identity, build out a logo, so at least you have something that you can like, you can put it under the umbrella of something. I think I would encourage anyone, if they have an idea, to take the time to like, to the degree that they can, flush out a brand identity. That way, like, you can at least, like, we had an Instagram before we had anything. We had a logo before we had anything. And then we just started taking pictures of sandwiches that I had written specs for, and like, it just looked more real than maybe it was at the time, because the branding was well considered. And then I had people reaching out to me asking us if we wanted to have pop-ups. Like the very first pop-up we did, we launched the Instagram, and the owner, Juniper, reached out to us, and she is like the kind of silent partner who does the back end stuff. So she didn't know that almost everyone at Juniper already knew me, because I spent a lot of time there.
Huh.
So that was like a layup, but like that never would have happened if I hadn't fleshed out a graphic identity and like a viable, professional looking social media presence prior to like, I would just put up a bunch of pictures of sandwich. People are going to be like, what the hell is going on? This dude just really loves sandwiches. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, so I just encourage people. I'm like, if it's a podcast, if it's a clothing brand, if it's even like something less creative, like any set of services, like spend the money on the front end to invest in a graphic identity, and it will manifest itself in value and equity later down the road. I think it's a front, in the modern age, it's a front end investment that I think you have to make if 100%. You want to have any success.
Yeah. I was
like
gonna
bumper stickers. You got to put all your money in bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers everywhere.
Bumper stickers.
If you're not spending $4K a month on bumper stickers, you're never gonna make it.
You're never gonna make it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest things about what you're doing is a lot of times people have the grand vision. Oh, I want to open a restaurant one day, but I think the reality is, honestly, I think that's part of why a lot of restaurants probably fail, is people just jump straight into trying to do the brick and mortar thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have any kind of proof of concept. And as someone who's like super interested in just any creative endeavor or business endeavor, if you can figure out a way to determine if the market even wants the thing that you're going to offer on like a very small scale, that's how you'll figure out what direction you should go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you can polish the concept in a way that isn't a great personal expense, you
Yeah.
know? Because if you're learning on the fly with a brick and mortar, you probably have a relatively tremendous amount of overhead.
Yeah.
So it's just not as forgiving. Like we have almost no overhead
Yeah.
other than like a domain fee, which is almost nothing. So like we've learned so much like that we're going to be able to apply to like a potential brick and mortar without all the risk of that overhead.
Yeah.
So it's been really the fluidity of the pop-ups sort of allows for you to like tweak it constantly in a way that you can't if you're in a lease or what have you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think I mean, I kind of already said this, but the way that you start, if you can start small and build, that's how you'll build into something that's like solidified and sustainable, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think people use that as like a means to not start. Like, I'll start when I have like a certain amount of investment. Like, well, there's no guarantee that that's going to happen, and there might be a higher likelihood that someone is willing to invest when you already have like something resembling a proof of concept, you know?
Yeah. What's do you have like a trajectory or a dream or a vision for Deli Ole?
I would love to have a brick and mortar. Like, I'm really passionate about beverage service and interiors and all that stuff. So like I've been collaborating with people about like helping me come up with what a potential like cocktail or wine menu might look like at deli, and like I have a somewhat of a vision for an interior and think that's the next direction, but I don't think we're really in any rush.
Yeah.
You know, and there's other things in hospitality that I'm interested in, and like the visual arts and media. So yeah, I think I have a lot of freedom in terms of where I can go with this, which is refreshing.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, down the line, you will actually have real conversations with people about where the store would be.
Yeah.
But one of our favorite questions to ask people just generally is like, if you had a storefront for something, where would it be in Birmingham? And this is like actually super applicable to you because like
this is like a legit segment we do on the podcast. Is we call it New York storefront, but this one we honestly have always kind of adjusted to be Birmingham storefront. Like where in Birmingham? Which little borough?
Yeah.
Which one of the 99 boroughs of Birmingham? And then what would it look like?
First is Highland Park.
Yes.
It would be very sort of
I feel like Highland Park is always like the correct answer.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I'm surprised there's not more like commercial real estate there.
There should be.
If I'm
not mistaken, it's the most densely populated neighborhood in Birmingham.
It freaking has to be. I don't know how on earth anywhere else could beat it.
Sandwiches would rip in the park, like grab and go.
Definitely.
There was like a retail element. You could grab a bottle of wine or something.
Dude.
That's my dream. I would do Forest Park. I'm not super jazzed about like downtown or South Side for whatever reason, but I'm willing to be flexible.
Yeah.
I would like to stay in Birmingham proper. I know that makes everything more expensive, but I don't really want to be in the burbs.
It makes everything more expensive to open up in Birmingham than
I would imagine. Actually, I don't even know that for sure. That's just sort of like what I presume. I haven't even looked at spaces in like Vestavia or Trustful or Hoover because I'm just like not interested. But
sure,
don't care.
I've lived in a lot of those places, and I don't want to go there for work every day.
Yep.
Quite frankly,
you don't want to go to the Galleria for work every single day.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
I've heard the Colonnade is really nice.
I bet the Galleria
in the afternoons.
Your life expectancy decreases by 5 years every time you step foot in the Galleria.
I think the Galleria would genuinely pay you to come open up a sub place there.
I don't think they could pay me enough. I'm too expensive.
What if the Galleria low-key became like the next cool thing?
No. I reject
I'm out on it. Dude, I love that. I was driving through Highland Park last night because I went and hit golf balls at the golf course, and then I went to the garage.
That's a great day.
And it was a great,
really solid Thursday.
That is a really good
Thursday
day.
afternoon. And I had a nice little pastrami Sammy from the garage. It was so yummy.
Garage is great.
I want to ask, what is your perfect Birmingham day? Like a Saturday, it's Birmingham, and budget doesn't matter. What are you doing that day?
Besides McLean Science Center.
I guess the non-satirical answer, although I was just like editing jokes in my head just then.
You can do both.
I started breaking into all the cars on my street, breaking windows, taking all the valuables out of the glove boxes.
Yep.
No, I think I would. I mean, if it's just like me and I just want to like, I guess through the lens of like eating and drinking well, I would probably like wake up. Like, I'm a big go on a drive guy.
Oh,
I like to go on a drive with the windows down
Absolutely.
Yes.
and my AirPods, which apparently is dangerous, but I have like a 2004 Toyota Sequoia, and the only way for me to play my music library on there is to get a connecting device that goes into like the things that used to light cigarettes when you were a
Yeah.
kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
yeah.
We're all old enough for that outlet.
Yeah.
So I just do my
I
AirPods.
was going to say, yeah, easier.
I love that.
And somebody was like, "That's dangerous." I was like, "No one asked you, Nana." So yeah, I'll go through for a drive. I'd probably hit like Fawn for lunch.
Are you doing breakfast anywhere?
No, I'm not a big breakfast guy.
Whoa.
I'd get a cortado from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive around town, listen to some music, hit Fawn for lunch, pull up to Golden Age for like a afternoon glass of wine, and finish at the garage
Yeah.
with the
Dude.
Sammy.
Come on.
I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 day for me.
Fantastic day.
One thing that I think is interesting about, Highland Park in this whole equation is if you live there, it's probably awesome to just like walk down and grab a sandwich, but it's kind of hard to get in and out of.
Yeah, I think the parking could be problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like.
But the garage, like when you're there, you're like, I am freaking doing it though. Even though it's the worst parking ever. It's
a precarious parking situation, certainly.
precarious is a good word.
That is a all-time patio.
Oh
I don't
my
imagine
gosh.
there's that many, like there can't be that many better patios like
Anywhere
on Earth,
On Earth.
in
Yeah.
the universe.
I was sitting there with Gracie last night, and I was like, this is the most I feel like I'm in Europe anywhere in all of America.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
You're sitting there, and it's like just eclectic people only go
Yeah,
there.
it's perfect. I think the secret has gotten out a little bit.
Yeah.
It was under the radar for a really long time, and I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend like I'm part of like this original wave of the garage, because I'm not. I started going like at the recommendation of people who were cooler than me at the time,
Yeah.
and love it. But it's certainly gotten more visited.
Yeah. It's definitely like it is known as like the most underground place.
Yeah, people complain about it, that it's like not quite the hidden gem that it used to be. Like the word is out, but it's like, well, at least it's gonna be here for a while because they're making money.
Making money
it's not like
now.
You're the only one that gets
Also,
to
I
go to the
think-
garage.
You can get food there now, and that's like a relatively new development. So
Yeah,
because you can get food there now, I feel like a ton. I go way more now because it's like
yeah.
the sandwiches are also yummy too.
They
Oh,
are.
this brings me to my next question I thought of. What is your perfect sandwich?
I don't really know.
Hmm.
Like, I know the ones that I like in Birmingham. I like Cool Corners Cuban.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yes.
pretty legit.
Yeah.
I like Saigon's Banh Mi. I do like. I'll go to the garage and get like turkey with like mustard and Swiss on rye with some mushrooms and some onions. I like that.
It's good stuff.
But I don't know. Honestly, I think like the best sandwich I've had in a really long time is the one that it's like burrata, arugula, like chili oil, romesco, and like a chicken cutlet that we do on focaccia. Like
Oh
I
my
really don't think
gosh.
I've had a better sandwich than that in Birmingham,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
That sounds unreal.
We have this one sandwich that's like a cult phenomenon, and I have just inboxes full of people DMing me about it, and it's become a running joke between me and or my business partners and I, and it's just like it's just like a chicken Caesar. It's just romaine tossed in Caesar dressing and a chicken cutlet, and people are just feral for it. People will DM me. Someone literally DM me who's like, "That sandwich changed my life." I'm like, I sure hope it didn't, but it's just so funny because it's like,
just a chicken Caesar wrap.
yeah,
but
it's
in a
just like,
sandwich.
yeah. But
That
people
honestly
love it.
sounds-
And anytime we have a pilot, people are like,
Where's the chicken?
Yeah, is that gonna be on the menu? Is that gonna be on the menu? And I'm like, we're at Salud. No, it's not gonna be on the menu. We're gonna do like a chili relleno grilled cheese. And they're like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be there. I'm like, well, that's okay. I'm not gonna be hamstrung by this
Next
chicken
time,
Caesar salad.
when we pop up at Chicken Salad Chick, you can come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That's so funny.
fire.
Just gonna like put a bunch out in the field.
Is there
become
like
birds and just eat them?
Is there like a sandwich that's whenever you go to a coffee shop, the rule of thumb, the telltale sign of you can kind of judge a coffee shop by a cappuccino, and you can get a cappuccino everywhere, and you can figure out like how good the coffee shop is. Is there a cappuccino equivalent for a sandwich place?
That's a good question.
I really don't know. Maybe like a Reuben. Like if you can make a good Reuben, you're probably in a legit spot. I feel like Garage has a good Reuben.
So Lags is like the best sandwich place in Birmingham. Then have you had the Reuben at Lags?
No, I haven't even been to Lags before.
Bro, the Reuben at Lags is unbelievably good.
Really?
Yeah.
I get the burger
check
when
it
I
out.
went.
It is great. I also have been eating their breakfast a lot too, and
Because they're kind of down the block, right?
Yeah, they're right over there.
Where do you live at? Which little spot do you live? Are you a Glen Iris guy?
I was formerly in Highland Park, but I just recently moved to Redmont Village and Mountain Brook, kind of
There
like
you go.
catty corner to
Shout out Evan,
the village.
Shout out Evan.
previous guest of the pod. Evan is your, what do you call him there? He's like
maintenance guy.
He's your maintenance
junior
guy.
landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't interacted with him, but
He's cool.
If your AC breaks and
Yeah.
a
Then
little
a tall blonde
boy.
guy comes in.
okay. Is that why he was on the podcast? Because his maintenance excellence?
Yes. Yeah, we just talked to him about fixing air conditioners for the whole
No,
time.
he's just a buddy. But
Yeah.
I love
you're doing
Evan
him a
now.
favor.
Right.
Evan like genuinely is going to own Redmont properties one day, which is going to be crazy. He like is, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about that, but he knows the
He's
owner.
got some like Machiavellian scheme to work
Yeah,
his way
yeah.
up from maintenance to
Yeah,
ownership.
he's got this like potion mix that he's working on, and
Yeah.
it'll
Okay.
manifest in him owning an apartment
I hope it
building.
works out for him.
Yeah, no, that is really cool though. That the Reuben, yeah, I honestly think because Reuben that's pastrami, right? Or is it's some sort of like
Yeah.
beet or
It's like a rye and like pastrami or corned beef. Like, I mean, people do it different ways
yeah.
on kraut. Pretty standard.
I'm definitely getting that for lunch. I already ate lunch. I just went to Salute before I came here. Shout out Salute.
Yeah. I know it probably won't be out by this time, but Salute pop up with Deli Olé next Sunday.
Yeah.
Chewy reached out to us. Chewy's the man.
I was gonna say
We're
we can
good.
put it on Instagram. This will come out in May,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you have something planned for June or late May.
I'm actually totally putting that on my calendar.
I'm not
right
sure.
now.
Chewy
Good.
is a
When is
What
it's
a
next
guy.
next Saturday? Is that the Salute pop up?
next Sunday.
Next
Sunday.
April 27th.
Okay.
11 to sold out.
Love.
I also love. Dude, that grilled cheese sounds unbelievable too.
Yeah, we were at a cool menu. We got like a sort of, I mean, my buddy is helping me write it. He is from Costa Rica, and he is sort of a connoisseur of Latin American food, and he's a very talented cook from Atlanta.
Cool.
And we were actually just in Mexico City together, not last week, but the week before.
Yes,
doing
we
some
meant to
R&D.
ask about that. Talk to us about Mexico City.
It was fantastic until I tried to come home. But like, hospitality wise, it's just on an entirely different level. Like, I don't
Really?
think I've ate that consistently over the course of a week in my entire life.
Wow.
We did like the Michelin dining at some really fantastic spots that we got good recs for. But it's just the street food is just exceptional as well. Like, we had the best sort of al pastor tacos, the best campechana tacos, the best beefsteak tacos just on this little stall that was outside of our Airbnb.
That's so awesome.
There was 10 of us, and we really had a good time. We were able to walk around. It's very walkable in the particular neighborhood we were in.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like a hospitality field trip, and I think Carlos felt the same way. And a lot of my other friends that were with us are very into food and adventurous eaters. I don't know people who aren't into food. People who aren't into food are like people who aren't into music. Like I don't trust them. Keep them siloed.
You
away
don't like
somewhere from the
music?
rest of us.
Like, what do you do every day when you get in the car? Like, what do you mean? You don't
just,
like food? What do you?
look
How do
for
you
people
live?
to chain in your basement, drive around town. You're like Jeffrey Dahmer,
Yeah,
Honda Civic, and
yeah,
try to catch people.
100%.
Tell them how you don't own an iPod, or I don't know what you do. It's like I'm not really
Same people who don't like food.
I've heard the cafes down there are like unbelievable too.
Yeah,
You get to go. Did you get any cortados there?
I did get some cortados. We had a few cool coffee spots. Everything's cool because it's like the climate allows for things to be sort of indoor, outdoor.
Yeah.
Like almost everything feels like the garage except more tropical, where this like interior is sort of meshed with the exterior. That's really cool. It was great. Fantastic time. Then I tried to leave and things got really hairy.
What happened on your way home?
I'll tell the story. I've probably told the story like 32 times. I've got it down to a science.
Yeah, you got it down.
So none of this is embellished. This is 100% true. Because it sounds crazy. It sounds like someone stole a Mayan artifact from a museum and we were getting punished for it. But we fly out on a Monday and there was 10 of us and we were all taking different flights out. Some people were going like back to Texas. Some people were going further up north on the East Coast. Some people were going to San Francisco. There was 4 of us, and we were like the sort of southern hub group. So 4 of us were all on the same flight from Mexico City to Atlanta. So we take off at like 10 a.m. and we never reach cruising altitude. So we're just circling Mexico City for like 20 minutes, and we can all see on our flight maps that we've just been circling the city. So we're kind of confused, but we're not really alarmed. And the flight attendant comes over the loudspeaker and says, "Hey, passengers, we encourage all of you to cover or to lower your window shades and turn on your cool air." It's like, okay, that's really bizarre, but
I've never heard.
I don't really want to do that. I don't want to not see what's happening outside the plane. But it starts becoming increasingly more turbulent. So we are circling Mexico City, and it's been like 35 minutes at this point in time, and the plane is just shaking, and we still haven't reached cruising altitude. And people are starting to like projectile vomit in the plane. Like people are crying. My buddy is like drafting an "I love you" text to his wife. I'm like, Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And so at some point in time, the captain comes over the loudspeaker and says, "Due to a technical emergency, we're going to be forced to divert and make a emergency landing at a local satellite airport. Upon landing, there will be local paramedics for anyone who may have experienced a medical emergency and the local fire department. If you have not experienced a medical emergency, please stay on board while the fire department inspects the plane, and we appreciate y'all for flying with Delta." We're like, no problem. So we just land in this sort of airport slightly outside the city, and we just, like, nobody knows what's going on. We get towed off the tarmac by this tow truck, and the tow truck breaks. Like, the tow truck that's towing the broken plane breaks. So we're like, I don't know what's going on. And so another tow truck comes and gets us. We get towed off the tarmac. We get put on a bus. We get taken back to the Mexico City airport. We have to reclaim our baggage. From there, we go to the Delta help desk with the rest of the plane. And they're like, yeah, there's no way that y'all are getting out of here today. The best we can do is put you on a 10 a.m. flight to Atlanta the next day. So we get 3 meal vouchers and a transportation voucher to the Camino Real Airport Hotel at Benito Juarez Airport. And we just like spend the night there, have like probably the worst cocktails we had in Mexico. And
that's crazy.
We're just there with like a few other people on our flight. Some weird guy who like invited some Mexican girl over on Bumble and was like really psyched to tell us about it. And we're like, it's okay. You just keep that to yourself.
You got it.
And we go to bed. So we wake up at 5:30 a.m. and we have a message alert from Delta that our flight had been postponed to 6 p.m. due to maintenance issues. They tried to put us on the same plane.
No way.
So I was like, I'm not spending another night in Mexico, as great as this has been. So we like rush to the Delta helpline and like plead to get on an earlier flight out, and my friends all get upgraded to like business class and first class on this flight to Mexico, but I'm like the last one in line. So I'm the first one up to the help desk that's on standby for the flight that they all just got on.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
So they're like, the best we can do is a 5-hour connecting flight in Guadalajara through Birmingham or through Atlanta to Birmingham. And I was like, I don't care. I'll go to Guadalajara if you just get me back to
Get
America.
me out of here.
So all my buddies were on first class, like chumming it up with a Coke exec, and I'm just chilling in the Guadalajara airport.
Dang.
But I made it home.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But we also heard that they were circling the city for so much to burn fuel to like mitigate any possible explosion upon landing. I was like, okay, well that's good to know.
Thanks for doing that. Appreciate it. Thanks
You're
for keeping us from
joking.
blowing up.
So it was fun. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Camino Real
Have not.
airport hotel. It's lovely.
I
Decor
believe you.
exceptional.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is.
Service exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely.
dude, that is crazy.
Oh, this is the part of the story that people feel like I'm embellishing. We were going down to the shuttle, and from having just been helped by the Delta helpline, and we're on an escalator, and this is literal. I swear this is exactly as it happened. My buddy goes, well, at least it can't get any worse. And the escalator comes to a screeching halt. And like, we don't lose our balance, but we all get like tilted down off the escalator. And we're like, Sam, if you don't shut the hell up. And at that point, we're time like someone has stolen some sort of artifact from a museum. Like,
Yeah.
we're
That's
cursed.
crazy.
And I messed up my knee so bad when that happened that I have to go to the orthopedic doctor and see if I tore my meniscus.
Wow.
It was just like we were like laughing. They're like, this is like so hilariously calamitous that like it's not even real.
Yeah.
Like no one's even gonna believe us.
That's insane.
Yeah, but we made it back.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was
Dude,
fun.
nuts.
that is terrifying though.
Yeah,
If they were to be wait, so they were just like doing circles because they thought your plane was gonna
I
explode?
don't know. They're like, I'm not super clear on what was happening. They said it was like a pressure issue, and they couldn't ascend or descend, and they had to like find the right time to like make an emergency landing.
Whoa.
So I thought it was pretty chill besides the turbulence, and then we all got up to leave the plane, and the like captain is like shaking and like lathered in sweat, and I was like, that was probably more serious than they let on. They did a good
Yeah.
job of like maintaining composure. It was just like it was like the people like literally like crying. You could hear a pin drop. The only thing you could hear was like people vomiting.
That's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh. The only thing that I've ever done that's similar to that was whenever I flew to Dushanbe, Tajikistan. I was this is actually kind of insane that this happened on like two things happened on the same day. My wife had the stomach bug the day before. I figured out that she gave me the stomach bug halfway through my flight path to Dushanbe.
Tajikistan. Yeah.
So I
Imagine that's a long flight.
it was a 12-hour flight to Turkey and then a 6-hour flight from Istanbul to Dushanbe. And I got sick about probably like 30 minutes into the flight to Tajikistan. So for 6 hours, I was just like every 30 minutes puking my absolute guts up. And then we come into Tajikistan. One thing that I learned about Tajikistan was, well, actually, I learned everything that I learned about Tajikistan. I learned while I was there because I didn't even know it was a place before I went there.
Yep.
And so I went, and there's a mountain range between Afghanistan and Tajikistan called the Pamirians, and beautiful mountain range. Recommend going and checking out
but
one
nothing wild happens in that mountain range.
Right.
day. Nothing at
Safe
all.
place.
While we were there, never mind, I'm not going to tell that story. But there's a sandstorms that happen in Afghanistan in the desert, and then sometimes the weather, like it affects like the clouds somehow. Somehow the sand affects the clouds, and the sand goes up into the clouds, it takes it over the mountains, and then it just like creates a dust storm, like a
So just
sandstorm.
rain sand.
Literally, like it's crazy.
It sounds like some like
And-
xenophobic propaganda.
Like literally, it was so
Rain
strange.
sand in Tajikistan.
So they couldn't land because they genuinely didn't know if they were going to be able to see the runway until it was like too late.
yeah,
And also the wind was like
Imagine
insane.
when you're in a sand cloud
Yeah, it's
That is
like
a
pretty
hazard.
difficult.
Yeah.
for flying.
And yeah, to put the freaking like sand from the desert in the engine probably isn't smart. But anyway, so they were like trying to figure out. Then they did the thing where they like did circles, and like genuinely like G-force was felt. I don't know if that's how it was for you, but like they went to try and land like probably 4 times, and then they just had to like take off.
Yeah,
And like whenever they take off again when they can't land, it is like
A
it's
roller
like
coaster.
your face is being pulled down into your chest. It's like
Yeah.
it, and I was literally puking the whole plane ride. They go
Yeah.
down, and then
sure that's good for tummy issues.
it was horrible. Like so, we finally landed, and they wouldn't let me get up. They had locked the doors to the bathrooms because so many people were puking, which I don't understand that logic at all. By the way, thank you, freaking Turkey Airlines or whatever it was called.
yeah,
But Turkish Air, that's what it was called. But then I got up as soon as we landed, I got up and ran to the bathroom and realized that the door was locked. And then I went to go puke on the ground, and it was literally like James Bond. The flight attendant like grabbed me by the back of my shirt, unlocked the door. I still don't know how she unlocked the door, and then shoved my face into the toilet. Like it was like a fever dream after it all. But I'm like genuinely impressed you didn't get sick. Like, everyone got sick whenever we did those like loops, because like you're just constantly turning and the plane's just like pressing.
yeah. I don't have any like real experiences with motion sickness. I got an ironclad tummy.
Oh yeah.
I envy that.
Ironclad
That's amazing.
tummy gang.
Yeah, we had one buddy who was like, couldn't eat fruit because his mouth itches, and when we were in Mexico City, and like every time we were in a car, he got motion sickness, so we started calling him Bubble Boy.
Bubble boy.
Seinfeld, great
He would
reference.
appreciate that, but I won't say his name. But he was like,
Funny.
we're in Mexico. He's like, I can't eat the avocados; they make my mouth itch. I'm like, will you just lower your voice when you say that? We don't even want to hear us and come rob us
Because he has an itchy mouth.
because they think
Itchy
we're
mouth boy.
the biggest Weenie Hut Juniors in this entire nation.
That's so funny.
That is so cool. You got together. I mean, that's pretty awesome. You know, you're like literally doing the thing here.
Yeah, it's
And-
extremely inspirational.
Yeah, you
I
get to
mean-
go just be a guest.
Yeah, I had the best experience I've probably ever had in a restaurant at this place called Maximo Bistro. It was super next level, but I mean, the quality of the service, the quality of the food and beverages, and just the general vibe of the part of the city we were in was just awesome. I think a lot of us left, and some of us that are like relatively well traveled, thinking that was our favorite city maybe in the world.
Wow.
So it was cool, and it's just like pretty easy to get down there, unless Delta sabotages you.
Unless someone on your plane has stolen a Mayan artifact.
Yes,
and
unless
the
you're
gods are against
cursed.
That's crazy. Where all
yeah.
do you take inspiration from?
I'd certainly take it from different restaurants, and like, I guess I'm kind of visual, like restaurant facades, restaurant interiors, restaurant menus, like places I've been. I try to not to get too much digital inspiration. I try to get more of it from when I'm fortunate enough to travel. I mean, there's places around town and people around town who I definitely like admire their taste and have like emulated maybe consciously or unconsciously. But yeah, I think Western Europe, Latin America, like even like North Africa, those sort of like styles of cuisine, and like the Eastern Mediterranean, like their styles of restaurants and their architecture, like I find really inspiring. I mean, there's even places like there's a lot of places in New York that I like to reference. There's a lot of places, like even in Charleston, although I haven't been fortunate enough to go to all those places, that like just really attract me.
Yeah.
I need to do some more R&D domestically.
Yeah, I
That's
feel like
awesome.
Jesus did a great job of that before he opened up Salute. I like walked in to Salute, or like on the soft opening, I went with Kellen, and Kellen's like BFFs. Do you know Kellen Matafa? The Zephyr. guy?
Yeah. He's super cool. Zephyr's another great spot.
I love it. I love Zephyr would be successful in every city in the world. It is like,
yeah,
it's
I think
amazing.
so. That's pretty special to have here. You can tell.
You got it.
I was gonna say something, but I was like, a lot of their barbers there don't have hair, which is troubling. Like, I don't want them to mess me up.
Hey, Scott's got hair. He went to Turkey and got a transplant.
Yeah, did he go to Tajikistan as well?
I hope not, man. Freaking try to
I
kill
don't
you.
even want to see my luscious blonde locks and get envious and snip a little too much off the top.
That's so funny.
No, but
I'm just kidding. You can cut that part out. I still want to get my hair cut there.
No, Zephyr's great. But
No, they did
whenever
an exceptional job with the branding and vibe. It's just sort of like another, like,
A well thought of place.
yeah, it's just another
Well
like,
considered.
their brand formation
shows you that you need that type of stuff to sort of like get to that next stratosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole block has it. That whole block is just between June, Last Call, and Zephyr. They all just are super, like you said, well considered places.
Yeah. But whenever Kellen and I went, Kellen's like similar mind to you, where he's like kind of analyzes the intricacies of the space. And we went to Salute for the first time at soft opening, and Jesus and Kellen know each other. And whenever I was sitting in there, I was like, this reminds me so much of Tacombe, this like taco shop in New York. And he was like, that is literally where we got the majority of our inspiration.
Yeah.
And but I think that there is like R&D trips like that, like research and development. If anyone doesn't know what that means, those trips like that are so huge for places like Birmingham.
Yeah.
Because if you were to just do the same thing, I honestly think people should do more R&D out in the countryside of Alabama, because there's some amazing hospitality spots out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
I've heard some really cool stuff about Opelika recently.
Yeah, Opelika
Opelika
does
is
everything
the spot,
perfectly.
dude.
My buddy is really trying to get me to go to Sidetrack Coffee just to check it out. I've never been before. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. I've heard really
We
cool
are
things.
very, very familiar.
I have been so coffee is probably the thing that I'm most opinionated on.
Yeah.
And I have been to coffee shops all over God's green earth, and I've had great coffee experiences.
Yeah.
Sidetrack is the best coffee shop I've ever been to on
Okay,
planet Earth.
wow,
it's
that
kind of
is-
insane.
That's high
It
praise.
is,
Do y'all have any hospitality aspirations for coffee potentially? Or are y'all just going to be connoisseurs?
We talk about it all the time.
definitely in retirement.
You can't have
Yeah.
a buddy and not at least some point in time be like, we got to open up a spot, man.
Get it, yeah, no,
I went to the point of one of our friends, Whit Harrelson. I worked with him at Revelator.
Yeah.
He used to work at Sidetrack, and we were talking with an investor and looking at retail space, and
Okay.
that was when we
That's
backed
pretty
out.
far.
So we went pretty far, but
Yeah.
never. It was mostly the investor was
It's
a
like
little bit
second base
sketchy.
for coffee acquisition. right?
Literally, yeah.
yeah. No, I mean it's pretty interesting though. I think the thing that we're thinking about the most right now, we've talked about this a few times, is we want to do like I like love like music, and really in the sense of like I love music discovery of like I don't really know how to explain it other than
Big vinyl guy.
Yeah,
loves
like-
going through record stores trying to find hidden gems.
I like super old weird international stuff,
Yeah,
not because
was that some like West African like
I freaking love
like-
Afro beats.
yeah,
Yes.
was that what was playing
At the beginning,
at
yes.
the beginning? It kind of reminded me of like Fela Kuti a little bit.
Yeah, it literally might have been Fela Kuti. I'm not gonna lie, but I love it all. So, anyways, I think having like a music discovery centered space, or just like a music focused place, and I don't mean like I'm gonna buy Sonos.
Yeah.
Like I mean like like the point of the space would be, kind of
Yeah.
music
I did notice
enjoyment.
those concepts are a lot more popular, and I noticed some of
Yeah.
that in Mexico City. A lot of places we were in had a vinyl collection that was like well presented,
Mm-hmm.
and like a place where someone could come have a set like within a hospitality context.
Yeah.
I know like the listening room concept and all that stuff is like gaining traction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if that bubble's gonna burst, because like I don't know how well things are gonna do
Sure.
if like food is not
The center.
prioritied in a hospitality space.
Yeah.
But it's a cool movement, and people have put some pretty pennies into developing those concepts into something really appealing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I think we're having Kadeem. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's the guy who's opening Ralph's.
Yeah, I've heard about Ralph's, or at least I've seen some them be promoted on different channels.
I think it's awesome what he's trying to do, and I think like there's a lot of places that are like even venues like I feel like are great, but Kadeem is primarily a mixologist. Like it's going to be primarily a bar, but it's going to be marketed as. So anyways, kind of similar vibe. I think it'd be great. We want to build a really well done. I'm really into carpentry as well. We want to build like a really well done cart that has espresso offerings, and like it'll have like a matching carpentry like plywood speaker setup as well.
Yeah.
To where you could go, and whether it's I'm thinking like Juniper can't open up a coffee, like it would make no sense for them to open up a coffee thing, but like Juniper could have like whatever it would be called.
I mean, they're doing brunch now on Sundays too. So
yeah, so I think it's a great idea to do. And then also like I have no interest in DJing a wedding reception, like in the dance part, like playing Usher and stuff like that. But I have so much interest in DJing the cocktail hour.
Yeah, Confessions Part 2 is a pretty seminal.
Dad, Papa P.
Yeah, that is. I'm not gonna lie, no hate to them. I freaking love everything about a reception, but I'm not personally into like hype music.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, the whole like wedding culture is
so
its own thing in of itself. I've probably been with that catering gig and my stepmom owning a wedding venue in Florida. I've probably been to so many weddings. I've heard that like Applebee's song, the like cold beer. I don't know what it is. It's haunts my dreams. The song, because I've heard it at so many wedding receptions. It's like the
apple
song
bottom
about, like,
jeans.
No, it's like
with
it's
the
a
fur?
really horrible pop country song about not being fancy.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the like reference going to Applebee's and it's really horrible.
Yep.
That's
one of the worst things to ever happen to humanity.
Yep. That song.
You know
I rediscovered Yummy Country remix today, the Justin Bieber and Florida Georgia Line song. Do you remember that one?
No, I think I narrowly avoided that one, fortunately. But Florida Georgia, when I hear the words Florida Georgia Line, I want to renounce my American citizenship.
You just like put yourself back into your
I start
Hoover
looking
bug.
for flights to Athens. Like I could learn Greek; it wouldn't be that hard. They sell sandwiches in Greek, I'm sure.
Yeah,
they're probably more cylindrical than ours, but I can pivot.
Yeah.
No, I think it would be. Oh man, but I think it would be so fun to open up a space, and honestly, like, because I don't really think one of the things that I really appreciated about what you were talking about was the pop-up space offers like this flexibility that like a brick and mortar doesn't, and you can kind of figure out who you want to be without like having. I feel like because I don't know, my best friends just opened up Whammy Coffee.
Yeah, we had a meeting there yesterday morning. We had our like final button down the menu at Whammy.
Let's go.
Yeah, the cortado was good.
Dude, I think they're Spros.
I like it way more than when it was East Pole.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about saying that. I don't have any.
Yeah.
East Pole's an Atlanta thing, so we can hate.
Yeah. But a primary example of like an Atlanta person who showed up to Birmingham and wanted us to like them because they were good Atlanta people. It's like I do respect.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't think they understood
like
it.
Nordic? Is it nautical? Is there nautical flags? Like, why are these baristas so angry? What happened to them?
Yep.
But I like love Whammy, but I think it's fascinating how, like everybody takes out some sort of get some sort of financial help at the very beginning. They get a large chunk of money. Yeah. And then they try to get in the green and they pay it off over time. That's just like how it works. And then after that, there's like that's not always the like rule. There's exceptions and stuff, but I think that it is interesting how whenever you do a brick and mortar, you kind of solidify a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I heard someone tell me like anyone can open a restaurant. All you have to do is be able to accumulate debt. Whether you can have a profitable restaurant is something else entirely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I love the idea that like who Whammy's going to be is going to be them in 5 years. Kind of similar to marriage, similar to friendship, similar to like literally a home, anything. But I think thinking about Deli Olé, y'all are super blessed right now to be able to do what you're doing right now, like opening up Salute or Juniper or Golden Age or whatever it may be. You can literally figure out things from like whose elbows are hitting each other too much in the kitchen to like, oh, I actually, can settle on this paint color or this cup or this plate. You don't have to like solidify those opinions.
Yeah.
Like right now, you can kind of figure out who you are before you have to open up a space.
Gives you a lot of runway.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the Mexico City tarmac or the
Tajikistan
tarmac. Yeah. We call that a callback in the industry. I'm professional.
Industry term.
Yeah. No, it allows you to be nebulous. That's why I encourage people to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like writing a rough draft every time, and it just gets like incrementally more polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like writing a book. You write the rough draft, and then you take away some things, and you add some things, and you
and
edit.
Then the publisher just kind of makes you conform to society.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Hey, well, starting to genuinely, I know you got to get to work, so we'll be kind to your time, but genuinely, it's been so awesome getting to chat about all this. We one of the main reasons our podcast exists is because we want to celebrate the amazing things that are going on in this city that we all just like irrationally love, and we'll die for.
Well, thank y'all for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, of course, man. We're so excited, and we'll pump the heck out of Deli Olé until the day that we die.
That's an unbelievable amount of commitment. I don't even know if I can. I don't even know I'm willing to do that.
Anyway, Deli Olé and any other form of DLL.
I'm trying to sell to BlackRock the first time they come with a big check.
With
25 grand, I'll take it.
The PRG is going to come and just buy everything.
Yeah, all my business partners have really exploitive prenups written into their contracts.
That's right.
Yeah,
they're getting like maybe a percentage of a percent. I'm just kidding. No, I really appreciate that. I think it is what it is because people have been so tremendously supportive, and I don't take any support for granted. And I mean, I want to make somewhere that people in the town are proud to go to and proud to refer back to when they're out of town.
Yeah.
And I think Birmingham is about to get more places like that and continue to punch above their weight.
I like that. I like the refer back to when they're out of town.
Yeah.
Like, what are the spots that you wreck when people are coming in town?
People from larger metropolitans love, like,
we should ask.
Referring how
the belly company,
like how cool their stuff is. But I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man.
Of course, man.
Got to go pick up Slim's liquor. So
we love what you're doing. Please keep doing it.
If y'all need me, I'll be at the East Lake ABC.
I love it, man. Cheers.
Right,
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Like and subscribe. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
And if I have a Birmingham agenda, one of them is I want